and WNBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WNBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WNBA.
It's now time for One Man's Opinion on Sports with Bryan Pasquale. The phone lines are open at 724-843-1888 and 724-774-1888. You can also watch live on the WBVP-WNBA Facebook page. Here is your host, Bryan Pasquale.
Welcome to One Man's Opinion on Sports with me, Bryan Pasquale. I'm here at the St. Barnabas Studios. Joining me today is my producer, Ryan Garazunas. He's ready to take your calls at 724-843-1888 and 724-774-1888. Also, make sure you check us out on Beaver County Radio Facebook Live and Beaver County Radio YouTube. Today's show is sponsored by Easy Home Exteriors. They do roofing replacement, windows, doors, and entryways, as well as siding. Easy Home Exteriors is your one-stop shop for all of your exterior remodeling needs. For a free estimate, call 412-678-7008. That's 412-678-7008. All right, Ryan, before we get into sports, I did want to say that prayers go out to Corey Compertore's friends, family. He gave his life protecting his family during the Trump rally this past Saturday in Butler, PA. So prayers go out to the friends and family of Corey.
Yes, absolutely terrible thing.
Yeah, apparently he, was shielding his family from the bullets. So, all right. Well, moving on to sports, though. I wanted to open up with Livy Dunn.
Okay.
Livy Dunn, of all people, right?
That's a good place to start.
All right, we're going to start with Livy Dunn. Did you notice how many times they showed Livy Dunn on the during the first inning, the bottom of the first?
It was several. I didn't count. I'm sure that you do have an exact number, but I did not count.
Well, it was at least three, right?
Okay.
And, let's go, Paul. She screamed, whatever. Let me ask you a question. What is wrong with, as Ryan's fixing his hair, what's wrong with the Pirates TV cast of their games? Why do they not show her at all?
And we kind of tackled this early on, Bryan, whenever Paul Skeens was coming back up, a couple months ago. And I knew right up front, I knew this was not going to be an organization that sat there and pranced Livy Dunn around. It's an organization that would rather, and media, team that would rather put Kenta Colby's face on your TV for a half hour at a time. It's just, people were saying that, Bryan. They were saying, is this going to be like Taylor Swift and Kelsey? But I kind of thought from the beginning this wasn't going to be that way.
Yeah, well, I think they're not doing their ratings any favors, but I guess Paul Skeens himself does draw a crowd. Gets the start for the National League, pitches the bottom of the first, 4 up, 3 down. He walked a guy. Now, who batted third, Ryan? Do you know offhand?
Yeah, it was Juan Soto.
Juan Soto. Wasn't there a 3-2 count, and Paul Skeens struck him out on the inside corner, and the umpire called ball 4?
Well, you know what? That pitch was questionable. I think if the catcher catches that ball, it may have been counted as a strike. The fact that it went right through the catcher's glove, like something you'd see on a cartoon, that kind.
How does a catcher? Okay, that's just their name.
Yeah,
is catcher. You catch the ball.
Yes.
How do you not catch the ball as a catcher?
Maybe catching for Paul is different. Maybe, that's wild because I always say this, Bryan. I always say, how are they not the best hitters on the field when, in fact, they basically have that same look at every single pitch and they have to put their hand out and grab it on defense?
Maybe if while they were batting, they were giving the signal to, know what pitch is coming. Like, between their legs, they're, giving the old, the one.
Right.
Give them the heater. So he gets a pop-up to right behind second base. Then he gets this laser. I mean, he sacrificed his body on that swinging bunt ball that didn't even make it back to the mound.
Yeah.
Then apparently walks the third batter. And everybody was excited that he walked him, actually, because they did want to see him face Judge.
I think something that was interesting before you go on, Bryan, is this. There was a comment because everyone was talking about the anticipation of Paul Skeens possibly facing Aaron Judge, and they had asked Juan Soto, the guy that got the walk, and he said before the game, he says, don't worry, he'll get a chance to face Aaron Judge, saying, I'm going to get on base.
Well, that's what I would say, too.
Yes.
I'd be super arrogant.
But you know what? Being an exhibition game, you just don't know. And again, as I said, if the catcher catches the ball, who knows what happens. So
man on, 2 outs, and Judge is up. The all-time Yankees single season record holder for home runs.
Is that what it is?
Him and his PEDs go up to bat, right?
Yes.
And first pitch, he hits a little chopper to third and makes the final out. So it wasn't like a battle. You thought maybe they would be going pitch to pitch and maybe he'd foul a couple off and, Skeens would get the better of him here and there. But, first pitch, chopper to third. And then that exits Paul Skeens and, they scan back to Livy Dunn.
I was happy with his performance. All in all from what went on this weekend. Paul Skeens, Bryan Reynolds going 1 for 2. He got that base hit. You know what? I'm happy. I think the guys represented us well, and I'm happy. I'm happy with the performance.
Yes. Who struck out to end the game? Do you remember who struck out to end the game?
I don't.
It's your own Bryan Reynolds.
Was it really?
Yes.
Wow. You know what? I wasn't watching at that point. Did he really?
Nobody was. So I was at a place today that has 58 TVs, right?
Yes.
Right. And I was talking to them, and Jules was telling me that for the game, they were packed, and as soon as Paul Skeens was done, everybody left.
Really?
Yes.
That's why I have no problem believing it.
Yeah. Bethel Park's own Mason Miller of the Oakland Athletics throws one 103.6 miles per hour.
The record at an All-Star game for the MLB. No one's ever thrown faster than that.
Yeah. I mean, did you? So you didn't watch the game? Like, I don't care to see Bryan Reynolds bat.
By the time it was the second out in the ninth inning, I certainly didn't care to see Bryan Reynolds bat. I was already doing other things. I got the information that I needed, and again, I didn't know that Reynolds would be up again that inning, so I didn't.
All right, there's two other things that happened on the All-Star game, and I need to talk about them because and I might have texted you. So they were interviewing Paul Skeens, and it was like not sports reporters, it was mainstream reporters asking him questions.
Okay.
And literally they asked him the dumbest questions on the planet. Like the one lady in some sort of broken English was saying, you're known to throw the ball fast. How fast do you like to throw? Like, what kind of question is that? Don't they have a friend that likes sports that they can say, hey, what should I ask this guy?
I'm kind of going to a sporting event tonight.
It was just brutal. And all I kept picturing was like, how like the week before the Super Bowl, they ask all kinds of questions and you get these people that don't know anything about sports and they say, who was the lady, the female reporter that asked how whatever the visiting team was going to handle the weather in Detroit? And he's like, it's covered. It's going to be 72 degrees in there.
Wow. And that's everybody wants to jump on it. They want to jump on. They know it's a big event. They want to be involved. And unfortunately, a lot of people, as you're mentioning, don't know what they're talking about. But I do want to add one other thing.
You can add all kinds of stuff all show.
Well, Paul Skeens was, in fact, he played a lot of different positions. He was naturally a catcher.
How are you that tall and catch?
I know. He was a third baseman in high school, as a matter of fact, when he was going up against Jared Jones in those matchups in high school. But then in his first year at college, he had 11 home runs.
He played Jared Jones in high school?
He did, yes.
Really?
Yes. Jared Jones was the dominant pitcher. Paul Skeens was a hitter.
Right, yeah.
Third baseman.
He's only been pitching for like 6 years, he said.
Yes, and it was pretty.
I did not know. How do I not know this?
I don't know. And then also,
Good thing you're here.
When he went to college, Skeens was playing catcher at the time, was a very good catcher. He hit 11 home runs in his freshman year at LSU. Or no, that would have been at Air Force.
Now, his dad was in the Air Force.
Yes.
Is that how he went to Air Force?
Yes.
Okay.
But he has great power. When he's at the plate, they even mentioned it at one point last night. I think on something I was watching, they said at some point if they would ever turn him loose like Ohtani, he could be effective in the ML, in the majors with his bat.
Could you imagine him DHing?
Right.
Then he pitches, they pull him in the 7th, so he goes in and catches the 8th and 9th.
Right. But with that being said, I do want to say, mentioning Ohtani, I was watching a game last night. I seen him hit this home run, and I don't remember if I texted you or not, but I said he is the best baseball player in the world. Is there anybody that you could think that you would even put on the level of somebody like Ohtani right now?
If Ohtani had done this for many more years, yes. I would have to say that there's no way anybody could argue that. I think he is just something else. I mean, the fact that he's not from the United States, I think, is why Major League Baseball is a little hesitant to put him as the face of MLB.
Right. I can understand that.
Now, did you watch the Home Run Derby?
Yeah.
Tell me about it, because I refuse to watch those boring things.
Well, I get excited every year, and home run derby. and I watch it, and it's 3 hours.
Did Chris Berman still say back?
No, but he might as well had. And it was 3 hours. Just like I said, the first couple of hitters, it's something, and then you're realizing,
3 hours?
It was 3 hours.
What?
8 o'clock to 11 o'clock.
How boring.
It was very boring. And like I said, for the first 10, 15 minutes, even a half hour, you're into it. But beyond that, it's hard to stay focused on that home run hitting contest.
Good Lord. Well, the big news for the home run derby was, what is it, Ingrid Andress?
Oh,
I don't know. Who is that? I have no idea who she is.
she's a country singer.
Okay.
And she was loaded out of her mind. It was like the worst karaoke performance you've ever seen.
What do you mean she was loaded?
She was just drinking.
Oh, she was drunk and did the national. But
Yeah.
how is her voice that bad?
Oh, it was real bad.
I mean, okay. We remember Roseanne Barr,
Yes.
an
Yes.
actress,
Yes.
not a singer. But this girl is a singer.
Yes.
And do her songs sound like the national anthem?
You know what? I don't know. I don't know what her music sounds like. I'd be interested in if anybody does know, give us a ring and let us know. But
I might have to check out the Beaver.
But she, Bryan, she goes up there. It's like I said, the worst than Roseanne Barr. And then afterwards, she ends out saying that she's going to turn herself over to an alcohol rehab program because she's that much out of line.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What? How did I miss that?
That was the most. That was.
Why is that not on my news feed?
Yeah.
Here?
That was the most exciting part of the home run derby.
Now, who won the home run derby?
It was a guy from the Dodgers named Hernandez. So it was, I mean, like I said, for what it was, but it wasn't like when we were kids. We had Bonds, we had Griffey, guys like this. I didn't even know half of these guys.
You know what I like, and this is my favorite part of the home run derby, is whenever they hit a high fly ball to like deep left field.
Yeah.
And there's like 10 kids running into each other and
Yes.
just like tripping over each other. And I just like when bodies fly.
They all had these pink T-shirts on, and like I said, you're so bored. That's what I find myself doing most of the time. You're doing other things. Now I'm watching the guys, the kids in the pink shirts chase balls around. Certainly, something you can't do for 3 hours straight.
Okay, you're Mr. Uniform guy. You will have all the stats for how many times the Pirates have won and which uniforms
Yeah.
and all that. Were those uniforms the ugliest things you've ever seen last night?
Well, the National Leagues I thought wasn't bad. American Leagues looked like we said earlier on our
Why
show.
can't you just wear your own teams?
It looks like nicotine. It was the color of nicotine stain was the American League.
So you go into like some dirty, grimy bar and you look up at the ceiling and that's
Yeah.
what the color was.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, put them in their own uniforms.
I like the own uniforms. I said that as well. I thought, why can't they go out in their own uniforms? That represents the teams well. I don't care for this system.
Yeah, well, I don't know. To me, like this All-Star break is really, the Steelers haven't started camp yet.
Right.
The Pirates have made it interesting, but it's like there's no momentum anymore for the baseball season. They totally just took the entire momentum of the whole season away from me
By
having this break.
Oh, okay.
We just won 4 in a row. We're on a roll, and it's like
the longest active streak in the majors, mind you.
Is that true?
That's true.
Well, only one team can play the White Sox.
That's right.
So yeah, we're probably going to talk about the Pirates whenever we come back. Not that we're going to break just yet, but I want to get into their schedule, what you think we're going to do moving forward.
They are, Mike. I'm sorry, they are, Bryan. They are 2 games over 500 on the road, which was a bit of a surprise when I seen that. They're 2 games under 500 at home, 2 games above on the road, puts them at an even 500 overall. But the fact that this team wins more on the road,
That's interesting.
it is interesting. Because you figure teams that aren't good, they generally play better at home. But
Yeah, well, I don't know. I guess we'll get into that whenever we come back from the break. I definitely want to go over where we think they're going to be come the end of July.
Okay.
The trade deadlines at the end of July. Now there could be trades that happen in August, correct?
Yes.
But I think people still have to go through like some sort of waiver
Yes.
process. It can't be. Can it be like National League to American League, or is that done? I'm not quite sure of the trade rules.
there is a process. Absolutely, there is a process. And after
There's a process in Philadelphia with the 76ers. Trust the process, they
Trust
said.
the process. But yeah, it's something. You can effect trade after the deadline. It does have to do with the waivers, but the system kind of goes in a different direction. But make a long story short, you can, still make moves after that.
All right. Whenever we come back from break, we're going to get into the Pirates and the outlook of the rest of their games in July before the trade deadline and what they need to do. You guys have been listening to WBVP 99.3 FM and 1230 AM.
Hey, can you imagine trying to hit a fastball or throwing a runner out at home? It's hard to think of doing these things under perfect circumstances, let alone with the distraction and discomfort of dental issues. Regular dental care from Dr. C. Timothy Lip can improve your productivity, happiness, and focus, even if you're not in the big leagues. Dental problems affect more than just your teeth. Visit lipdentistry.com or Dr. C. Timothy Lip Family Dental Offices on College Hill and Robinson Township.
Has your classic car or hot rod seen better days? Just call me, Dave Rodenbaugh, and my team at the Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company. The full-service hot rod shop offers it all. Everything from custom fabrication and restoration to regular maintenance and collision repair. With over 40 years of experience, there isn't a job too big or too small. The Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company's enclosed trailer service ensures safe transit for your ride during any season. The Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company is located at 6th Street in Beaver Falls. Visit pahotrod.com or call 412-719-4950.
One of the greatest honors a person can receive is to be gathered with their people at the time of their passing. Even biblical authors, when they wanted to explain what it meant to have lived a great, prosperous, and meaningful life, spoke of the individual as having lived a long time and being gathered with friends and relatives near as they closed out their twilight years. Being gathered together with loved ones is something that the J&J Spratt Funeral Home takes very seriously as well. The comfort both given and received cannot be underestimated. J&J Spratt Funeral Home also knows that the honor shown to a loved one at their time of need in this manner is still the right thing to do today. J&J Spratt Funeral Home has been gathering together with area families for 4 generations and looks forward to honoring future residents deserving of being gathered together with friends and family. Click jjsprattfh.com.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Now back to One Man's Opinion with Bryan Pasquale.
Welcome back to One Man's Opinion on Sports with me, Bryan Pasquale. I'm here at the same part of his studios. Joining me today is my producer, Ryan Garazunas. It's funny, Ryan, at the very top of this, I have your last name written out really big back when I was fumbling to pronounce it properly.
Yeah. I still do that, too. I do things like that.
Yeah. Make sure you guys check us out on Beaver County Radio Facebook Live and Beaver County Radio YouTube. Today's show is sponsored by Easy Home Exteriors. They do roofing replacement, windows, doors, and entryways, as well as siding. Easy Home Exteriors is your one-stop shop for all of your exterior remodeling needs. For a free estimate, call 412-678-7008. That's 412-678-7008. If you'd like to talk about the Pirates, give us a call at 724-843-1888 or 724-774-1888.
Brian, real quick, I do want to say I don't still do that for my own name to remember my name, but for other people's name, I certainly, I'll make a note to myself because...
even whenever I'm 100% sure and I'm going to say something on the radio, I still double check with things because I don't want to sound like an idiot. More of an idiot than I sound already. So the Pirates, they are 48-48. They have 66 games left, Ryan? 66 games. Here's my question. We know they have a tough schedule. Can they win 36 of the 66 games and go 36-30 and end up with 84 wins?
I mean, that's what you would like to see from this baseball team. The only thing that I think keeps them from doing this is the inconsistency on offense.
They're consistent.
They're consistently inconsistent.
They score a ton of runs one time a week.
And the thing is, and then they have the hardest game against a pitcher that might have a 1-6 record. It's difficult to believe that this team could go 36-30 the rest of the way.
All right, so it's Phillies week. You know how we hate those Philadelphia Phillies, Flyers, Eagles. What else do they have out there? The 76ers. I don't mind the 76ers because we don't have a pro team.
Right.
So the Phillies come into town Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Everybody's going to be resetting their starting pitching lineup. What do you think ours is going to look like?
I think you're probably going to see Keller first. Mm-hmm. You're probably going to see Skeens on Sunday. I'm not sure what you got going.
So that's 3.
Yeah.
He pitches a lot of day games, huh?
He does.
He also pitches during a lot of tornado days.
Well, I do know they want to get him into this Philadelphia series, and it works out if he would pitch Sunday with his 5-day rest. So if that's going to happen in that series, it will in fact be Sunday. Beyond that, it's hard to tell, Brian, because they have about 5 other pitchers that they could possibly use in a rotation. I don't know where Jared Jones is at the moment with his injury. He shouldn't be too much longer. Also, you got the 2 guys that just came back, Perez and Gonzalez, and you also have guys like Luis Ortiz and Quinn Priester. So to try to predict what this rotation is going to look like right after the break, it's tough, but you could guarantee to see Keller and Skeens both in the series against Philadelphia.
So the Cardinals come into town Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yes.
So they're probably going to miss out on both Keller and Skeens.
Yes.
So lucky Cardinals, and then that just stinks because that's one of the teams we're battling for the wild card spot with.
Well, they'll more than likely, if Keller goes game 1 Friday night against Philadelphia, they'll see him in the St. Louis series. But
yeah, he could be the Wednesday pitcher. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Then we have Thursday off. Then, like you said, the Pirates have a 2-game above 500 winning percentage or
on
wins
the road,
on the road.
yes.
We go to Arizona for a 3-game series. Then we go to the Houston Trash Cans, and then the trade deadline comes up. So we have 4 series. Can we go 500 in those 4 series?
With the exception of playing Philadelphia, I think that, these can all be favorable series. Houston's going to be tough as well, but you got this Arizona series in St. Louis. St. Louis is a team that you're going to want game ground against if you could win 2 out of 3 games in that series and maybe win the Arizona series. The other 2, I don't know. It's going to be tough. What was the question? Can we go 500?
Yes.
We can.
Can we go 6-6?
We can go 6-6.
All right, that'd be not bad.
Yeah,
I'd be happy with 500 after the All-Star break. I think last year we lost like 452 in a row right after the All-Star break. Did we not?
It sure seemed like it.
It was brutal.
Yes, but you know what? It can also be tricky. A tricky series could also be Arizona. A lot of times you go out there, you feel like you should win, but you just don't win the games out in Arizona. So,
you know what? I hate to change the subject, but. You know how I always have the Dylan Cruz watch?
Yeah.
And what if the Pirates selected Dylan Cruz, number 1 overall, and Paul Skeens was pitching for the Washington Nationals at the All-Star game starting it? Wouldn't that be like such a Pirates story?
That would be the biggest Pirates story. It wouldn't surprise me
one bit. Did they flip
a
coin and just get it right, or did they know what they were doing? I mean, I'm not saying Dylan Cruz can't be like an all-time great because he hasn't got the opportunities yet. But I mean, as long as Paul Skeens stays healthy, he's going to be maybe one of the greatest pitchers of all time.
They made the right move. As of right now, there's nothing that indicates that this wasn't the right move.
Do you know how much he makes?
Who, Skeens? Mm-hmm. I don't know.
League minimum.
Really? Yeah.
The league minimum. I mean, he did get that $9.2 million signing bonus, so that was nice. And his girlfriend's worth about $10 million.
I was just going to say, he's going to be taking Livy out for fast food, and you're Paul Skeens, come on.
He's like, hold on, Livy, we have to go after 3 o'clock whenever they have like the special.
Yes.
I think they're doing fine. I'm sure they're both worth about $10 million each, so... Plus, do you think they'll do Levin commercials together? Like small hands?
You know what? That people might be trying to stay away from that with how bad it went with Kenny.
Oh, poor Kenny back up to the Philadelphia Eagles. I really, and I don't wish anybody harm, but I would like to see their starter go down, and I want to see how Kenny struggles. Is that bad?
No, you know what? And the crazy part about it is there's a chance that it could happen. You could have that situation against the Pittsburgh Steelers. We do, in fact, play the NFC East this year. We will see Philadelphia. And you know what? Quarterback being injured, you're always 1 snap away. So
right. Well, speaking of 1 snap away, you were just talking about this when we came back from break. We do have 8 starting pitchers.
Yes.
Skeens, Keller, Falter, Jones, Perez, Priester, Ortiz, and Gonzalez. I think Ortiz and Priester could easily go back to, the bullpen arms. But I don't know, the way Ortiz has been pitching, how do you
the thing about Ortiz, we are in that situation where he is the odd man out, he is originally a bullpen pitcher. So I think making that transaction is going to be really easy. And then the other one that I forgot to mention was Bailey Falter, of course. I think you did get him in that list of names.
I wrote it down
on
my official
They do. I mean, they have decent pitching, and again, that's not the problem. The problem on this team is ultimately hitting, and then that relief pitching is very shaky. Two things that, Brian, I think that they need to go after. It's a trade deadline if they do plan to buy, and that's the only moves they should make. If they go outside of that, it's dumb. And I also
what do you think they should do before the break if they're going to be buyers?
They have to get a relief pitcher.
Okay.
You have to. There's no way that you can move forward without another arm in that bullpen.
Are they getting rid of Aroldis Chapman?
I don't think so. You know what? If something comes up where we could, use him as leverage or something possibly, and then the other person, you have to get a bat. You have to get a bat. You have to get one more bat.
At what position?
I would say first base opposite Rowdy Tellez. If you get a right-hander and match him up with Rowdy being a left-hander at first base, I think that works. But you got to go after a guy that hits for average. You have to go for a guy that hits for contact, because we have a bunch of guys that want to hit home runs to be heroes, and they're just not those players. This isn't that kind of team. And they have to go out and get at least another bat, somebody that can get on base, somebody that can move around the pads, and then get another reliever. Otherwise, you cover nothing. Finally, I do want to say this as well. Could somebody call and check on Henry Davis? I mean, come on. Has anybody heard?
Is he even in AAA yet, or is he still in Altoona?
I think he's in AAA.
Or did they send him down to Single A? He's down there playing in Florida Grapefruit League or whatever it is.
And, for what this team has and is doing, he's really playing on the level that's par for what this offense is doing. So,
he hit a home run the other day.
He hit a couple, 2 days in a row. He hit home runs 2 days in a row.
Maybe he could just hit really good pitching, but can't hit major league pitching.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the case. Maybe he will get it together. My position of need is center field. We literally have a guy that's good with a glove and a guy that hits the ball about 1 out of 100 attempts.
Yeah.
And I just think Zawinski and Taylor they're not. Ship them off. Just get rid of both of them. Maybe you keep Taylor for maybe you have a lead and you put him and you sub him in the 8th, 9th inning or something for some defense. But I just don't. I mean, we need. How hard is it to get somebody that can hit 280 plus, take walks, and play center field? There's got to be a guy out there that we can get.
Well, the combined budget of this team is about $45. I mean, this is what you're getting.
Did he double it from last year?
You got to realize we're getting what we paid for. Being the team that pays the lowest amount in the division, we're lucky we're not in the basement. I mean, you get the players that you pay for.
Well, it's funny that you say we're not in the basement. We are just like 1 or 2 games out of the basement.
We are.
So
Yes.
We're talking about the playoff chances. Okay, the Philadelphia Phillies, the Milwaukee Brewers, and the Los Angeles Dodgers are likely going to win their divisions, right?
Yes.
Then you have the Braves 53-42, the Cardinals 50-46, the Mets 49-46, the Diamondbacks 49-48, the Padres 50-49. And then you have the Pirates at 48-48, but right behind them are the Giants 47-50, the Reds 47-50, and the Cubs 47-51. So say we get swept by the Phillies and maybe the Cards take 2 out of 3 on us, we could be in the cellar again.
You know what?
It's just that easy.
It's really cool because this season, I mean, as you mentioned right there's probably about 10 teams that are going to be fighting for those wild card spots. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I think that even somewhere on TV on the game last night, somebody mentioned that all but three teams are outside of 3.5 games from a wild card spot or something like that or beyond. It's going to be a lot of fun if you like baseball, and I think this could work in the Pirates to their advantage as well because they're not great. That shows you that all these other teams are basically playing right around the level that the Pirates are, and maybe that could motivate them to play a little bit better and get to it. Brian, they're only a game and a half out of the wild card spot.
I don't know any of these teams that have Paul Skeens on their team, though.
And that's very true.
So the Pirates kind of remind me, you know how you were like in high school, how tough it is to bring your grade up?
Yeah.
You're sitting there at that like 88%. You need to get a 90 to get an A in the class, and you get like 100 on a test, and then you get like a 95 on a homework assignment, and then your grade's like an 88.2.
Yeah,
and you're
right.
like, come on. But it is so easy for that 88 to drop down to like a 79
You're right.
if you bomb a test. The Pirates are that. They've worked so
went
hard.
Straight into Chinese as soon as you said your grade was 88.2. You would have to drop just a couple layers for me to understand entirely. But yes, I know what you're talking about.
Well, I did use my abacus.
But yes, it's so easy to drop. As you said, one bad test, it drops you way down, but it always seems like it's so hard to bring it back up.
Well, The next segment, Ryan, I want to talk about different sports. We're going to go over a bunch of different sports, maybe kind of like do sports from around the world real quick.
All right.
And, we'll get away from the Pirates, but then maybe we'll come back to them later on. Don't go anywhere, guys. You've been listening to WBVP 99.3 and 1230 AM.
Summer fun starts at the East Rochester and Tusca Shop and Saves. They have everything you need to enjoy your summer. Fire up the grill with their top quality meats, juicy steaks, tender chicken, and mouth-watering ribs along with burgers. Cool down with a great selection of wines and explore the famous beer cave for an extensive variety of brews. Don't miss out on amazing weekly specials and save money at the pump with every dollar you spend. Stop by the East Rochester and Tusca Shop and Save today for everything that you need this summer.
Whether it's Little League or the big leagues, it's time to get out and play ball. Friendly Federal Credit Union reminds you that every team looks forward to playing at home in front of a live crowd. Seeing loyal fans can help any player feel more comfortable. Just like a home game in baseball, Friendly Federal Credit Union always has friendly faces to help and cheer you on at the teller window. Now get out of that dugout and in front of your cheering section. The personal live tellers at Friendly Federal Credit Union.
This is Andy Toole, men's basketball coach at Robert Morris University, here to talk about my friends at Falcone Moon Township Ford. I know what it takes to win a basketball game. It begins with practice and a team of players who want to win. The same is true of the team at Moon Township Ford. Professionals who will win you over. They'll find the best rate and terms on a car loan to help you get the best deal. Make a fast break and avoid the roadblocks that stop you from finding the car you want. Go where I go. Moon Township Ford.
Falcone's Moon Township Ford, where friends send friends.
Start your day with a visit to your local McDonald's for breakfast and enjoy their 2 for $3 mix and match breakfast special. Sausage biscuit or McMuffin, breakfast burrito or hash brown, or try their 2 for $5 sausage McMuffin with egg. Only at McDonald's. I'm loving it.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Now back to One Man's Opinion with Bryan Pasquale.
Welcome back to One Man's Opinion on Sports with me, Bryan Pasquale. I'm here at the St. Barnabas Studios. Joining me today is my producer, Ryan Garazunas. He's ready to take your calls at 724-843-1888 and 724-774-1888. Also, make sure you check us out on Beaver County Radio Facebook Live and Beaver County Radio YouTube. Today's show is sponsored by Easy Home Exteriors. They do roofing replacement, windows, doors, and entryways, as well as siding. Easy Home Exteriors is your one-stop shop for all of your exterior remodeling needs. For a free estimate, call 412-678-7008. That's 412-678-7008. I want to give a little shout-out to my niece, Elizabeth Helene. She's 8 years old, and apparently, Ryan, she is my biggest fan.
Nice.
My mom watches my 1-year-old niece, her younger sister, and whenever she's over there, she's like, she walks around with her iPad and she listens to your show all the time, and she doesn't even know what you're talking about.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, yeah, my number one fan, apparently. I need to get her like a little One Man's Opinion T-shirt to wear.
Yeah. Oh, she'd love that, man.
She could wear it to the first day of school.
Yes.
Now, she likes dresses.
Okay.
Maybe I'll have to get her a One Man's Opinion dress.
Yeah, get a dress, slap a patch on her. She'll be set to go.
All right. So we know that July 26th is the start to the Olympics. The men's basketball team filled with a bunch of old guys. LeBron, Durant, I mean, you name it, they're old. They played Australia the other day. The USA won 98-92.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
The Aussies.
It was like a 4-point game with like a couple minutes left, and luckily, what's the guy from Boston? Tatum.
Yeah.
He made like 7 free throws or something. So
Right.
so that's the only way they won. I don't get it. Here's the thing. The Australians, out of their 92 points, they scored 68 of them in the paint.
Wow.
They have Joel Embiid starting at center. Okay. They have Anthony Davis, who is on the backup, the second string team, right? So those are supposed to be your rim protectors. But LeBron James, that 6'9" oaf, that useless, completely garbage, overrated oaf. He stands on the block, doesn't cover anybody, and when the other team's driving or making cuts into the paint, he literally watches the game. He doesn't help out at all. So why are you down there on the block, not covering anybody, and then you don't even help out on defense? They are going to lose. The United States men's basketball team is not going to win the gold.
Almost to me, it seems like, what are you there for with LeBron? You know what I mean? He's kind of already been there, done that. He's proved everything that he's got to prove. So now he kind of plays like I don't have to play defense. And what are you there for then?
It's funny about LeBron. He won the bronze medal. Then 2 years later at the World whatever, they won the bronze again. And they needed Kobe Bryant to come back. And I think they called him like the Redeem Team or whatever, and then they won the gold. And it was Kobe led the team. Jeez. It wasn't LeBron. I think LeBron's trying to like be the leader of the team, but he's completely useless. He can't cover anyone. He's so slow. I mean, yeah, he looks fast whenever he has a breakaway easy dunk.
Right.
But other than that, he literally doesn't try.
Yeah.
He like rubs his chest and points to people and then makes ugly faces whenever somebody messes up or they don't get the call.
How old is LeBron now?
600. I believe he's 39 and change. Wow. We'll have to Google it. I think he's going to be 40 this. And it's so sad because obviously he's another one. Aaron Judge, LeBron, they're on PEDs. They have been, their whole careers. They're just staying ahead of whatever the testing is, or the NBA doesn't want to ruin their golden child and their money tickets, so they just allow him to do PEDs. But like he literally, for all the working out LeBron does, and this is a lot of the NBA guys, they're not in shape. And before somebody calls in and says, here's what I mean. Like, they have no conditioning.
Right.
You watch an NBA game, all it is breaks. There's a foul, there's a whistle, there's a commercial, there's this timeout. It's literally, there's not a lot of back up and down action.
Right.
And they sit and they need breaks. And I'm like, why do you need to break? And he works out all the time. You see him. He's like, who's the Steeler that works out all the time?
Harrison?
Yes. Yeah. But lifting weights doesn't mean that you're conditioned. They're not running suicides. I think they call them something else now. They're not allowed to say the term suicide or something. But we notice you go line to line.
Right.
You start at the baseline, go to half court and the foul lines, and they're not doing that.
Time to run on lives.
Yes. All right. In other basketball news, Bronny James, the 5'11.5" tall Bronny James, LeBron James Jr., he's like 0 for the whole summer league. He's averaging like 2 points a game in the summer league, and he's so bad. And I feel bad for this kid because I think his dad is like trying to not that LeBron hasn't done, but he's trying to live vicariously through his son.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
And he's like forcing him to. Dude, I don't even think he could start at Duquesne. Wow. This kid, right? And he said, and I quote, "I feel like I'm in a little depression."
The Bronny.
Yes. So something's going on mentally. I mean, the poor kid's out there just, he's trying and whatnot, but he shoots like his dad, and he's almost a foot shorter.
Yeah, that definitely is not going in his favor, the fact that he's so much shorter. I'm very curious to see how this plays out. I'm glad that he did go to L.A. Because I feel bad for the kid at this point. I mean, if he was somewhere else where, he didn't have the support of LeBron James, who knows? But he's already depressed, man.
Yeah, that's not a good sign, So, speaking of Joey Chestnut.
Okay.
You like how I make these transitions straight from LeBron James to the hot dog eating champion of the world. Joey Chestnut versus Teruku Kobayashi. Okay, in 2007, I believe Joey Chestnut took him down as the champion, and he's never looked back. He's been like the hot dog eating champion of the world. He eats like 70-some hot dogs in a minute.
Yes.
I don't even know how that's possible. But they are going to be going on Netflix and having their own eating hot dog contest because Joey Chestnut was banned because of his sponsor.
Yes.
He's like a vegan hot dog. Are they eating the vegan hot dogs?
I sure hope not. But you know what? That would make sense, right? Because if that's who's endorsing him, I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure.
When is this? When is
it's coming up soon. I knew they were, obviously the July 4th celebration was when I guess ESPN covered it.
The official.
But I think like a month later, they're doing this one-on-one.
This is the one that I think that people would be interested to see. I mean, Kobayashi was the guy, and then all of a sudden, Joey Chestnut comes along. He dethrones him. So I want to see this matchup. This is the matchup you want to see.
You can catch that in every movie you don't want to see on Netflix. Is that crazy how Netflix has every movie you don't want to watch?
Right.
All right, let's see here. Moving along. Oh, the Pirates, they had their major league draft. And let me just tell you, it looked like it was in like a 8th grade gym.
Yeah.
They so want to be the NFL. They had that little like the picks in.
Right.
And it's just like, it's so anticlimactic. It's so awful. But the Pirates with the 9th pick take Connor Griffin. Connor with a K. I don't like him already because I don't think he knows how to spell his name. Connor with a K, Griffin, a shortstop. It seems like everybody drafted is either a pitcher or a shortstop because the best player is going to play shortstop.
Yeah.
So we don't know what position he's going to play. We probably won't see him till 2030 anyway. They also had the 37th pick, and they took a right-handed pitcher, Levi Sterling. So Connor Griffin, Levi Sterling, we will follow their minor league careers as they go through.
On top of 18 other players, they drafted 21 people in the draft this year, the Pirates.
How many of those people work out?
I would say, I guess probably a very low percentage, but you figure you take them, you disperse them to single A, double A, triple A.
Didn't what did I hear on your show today? In like the 19th round, the Big Poppy's son got drafted by the Red Sox.
Yeah,
interesting. I mean,
and at that point, you got to say to yourself, is this guy really worth it, or is he kind of getting this brawny?
Yeah, are they hoping to sell some tickets somewhere in the minor league? Hey, that's so and so's son.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get it. All right, let's see here. We've had 40 minutes of show so far, and we're going to now talk about the biggest star in sports, Caitlin Clark.
Yes.
Did you watch the ESPYs?
I did not.
Okay, I have zero interest in that.
Yeah.
It has a whole agenda that I can't even get behind for starters. Did she win, like, Athlete of the Year?
I don't know.
So somebody posted, like, during the ESPYs, I knew it was on, but I wasn't watching. Somebody posted on Facebook, and it said something like, "Congratulations, Caitlin Clark, you deserved it." And I was like, being honest, like, what did she win?
Yeah.
And the girl said, like, the #1 album. And so my response was like, I think Taylor Swift's probably pissed. Like, just making a joke. But
yeah,
I guess she was being funny, but the joke went over my head. I mean, I got it, but I didn't think it was that funny. So I got word. You remember back in the before she played in the WNBA that Ice Cube, the 3-on-3 league, offered her, what was it, like $10 million to play?
About $10 million.
$10 million. According to her dad's friend, I'm going to read this quote. She was really considering that 3-on-3 Ice Cube league, but she looked at it as a disservice towards everyone before her. I'm assuming meaning the WNBA players that came before her. So here's my thing. We all know I can't stand Caitlin Clark.
Right.
But she always says and does the right thing. They ask her questions in the press conferences. She's always saying the right thing. Very, very well spoken. So, she does have that going on.
And I got to be honest with you. I mean, of course, yes, the endorsement deals and things that she's going to be getting are going to be big time. But, that's a tough decision. You could jump into Ice Cube's Big 3 league, make $10 million. That's pretty tempting. Or you could go to the WNBA where the average salary is, $70,000 a year. What do you do in that situation? I mean,
well, she knew she was getting the endorsements.
Right.
So I don't know that the $10 million would be enough.
Okay.
Because, what did Michael Jordan make? He made like $100 million with Nike and Gatorade and McDonald's and so what does basketball salary even matter?
Yeah.
So Caitlin Clark, what place are they in? Do you know?
They're moving up. I believe they're 6th overall in the whole entire league.
6th out of 12. So
6th
they're
out of
right
12.
in the middle. They were, the worst team last year?
Yes.
They had the #1 pick. I don't know if they give the worst team or if there's like a lottery. Yeah, there's 12 teams in the WNBA. I'm going to read them here with their nicknames because I think their nicknames are absolutely atrocious. There's the Indiana Fever, which Caitlin Clark plays for. She is playing tonight at 7:30.
Yes.
Versus the Dallas Wings. Bless you, Ryan. The Dallas Wings. That's a very interesting name. The Las Vegas Aces, the Chicago Sky, the New York Liberty, the Minnesota Lynx, the Phoenix Mercuries, the Washington Mystics. What the heck is a Mystics?
I'm still caught on the wings. I think that's a funny name for a female.
Yeah, it reminds me of like a
pro sports team.
Tampax Ultra Wing
Right.
or whatever, right?
Right.
I don't know. I saw those commercials back in the 80s or something. I don't know anything about that. Seattle Storm, the LA, I call them the LA Sparkles, but they are the Sparks, the Connecticut Sun. Now, we were talking about that before. Like, Sun, like it's not California, it's not Florida, it's Connecticut.
Hey, you're right.
How are they the Sun?
And if anybody was going to be the Sun, you would think it'd be like a Phoenix who has the suns, and the Sun would be the...
Well, Phoenix is Mercury, so you know the Mercury, the temperature's rising, but we're not allowed to use Mercury in thermostats anymore. So who knows what's going on?
But that does make more sense than a Connecticut team being the Sun.
Yeah, well, then there's the Atlanta Dream. Seriously?
Yeah.
Who came up with these names?
Right. I like
Who's
the
running
Liberty.
this
I think the
league?
Liberty's cool for New York because they always had the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah,
as
New
their-
York Liberty, that's a good one. But the Lynx, like, isn't that like a little like bobcat or something? A lynx? I don't know. Just awful. Well, we got a lot of sports we're going to talk about whenever we come back from break. You guys have been listening to WBVP 99.3 FM and 1230 AM.
The place for news, sports, and entertainment. You're listening to Beaver County Radio, 99.3 FM and WBVP, live from the all-new Fry Transportation Studios.
At Friendly Federal Credit Union, we've always said that it's almost like a family reunion when you stop in. And now we are going to prove it. This is Cindy Hilario with a special invitation for you. Backed by popular demand, our annual luncheon meeting is happening Saturday, August 24th at the Fez. And as a member of our family, you're invited. If we haven't adopted you yet as one of our own, what are you waiting for? Membership is open to all family members and friends. Make plans to gather together over lunch with your friends and family at the annual meeting on August 24th at the Fez. While at the event, you'll get a generous helping of both delicious menu items and valuable information on how we serve our members. Oh, wait, there's prizes and a free gift, too. Tickets and more information are available by visiting Friendly Federal Credit Union, the place that makes more sense for you. Member NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Has your classic car or hot rod seen better days? Just call me, Dave Rodenbaugh, and my team at the Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company. The full-service hot rod shop offers it all. Everything from custom fabrication and restoration to regular maintenance and collision repair. With over 40 years of experience, there isn't a job too big or too small. The Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company's enclosed trailer service ensures safe transit for your ride during any season. The Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company is located at 6th Street in Beaver Falls. Visit pahotrod.com or call 412-719-4950.
Looking for a great job opportunity? McDonald's now has full-time and part-time positions available to fit your lifestyle and needs. Set up your own hours and have a lot of fun too. Whatever your situation is, McDonald's has a place for you. Apply today at mchire.com. McDonald's is here for you. I'm loving it.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Now back to One Man's Opinion with Bryan Pasquale.
Welcome back to One Man's Opinion on Sports with me, Bryan Pasquale. I am here at the St. Barnabas Studios. Joining me today is my producer, Ryan Garazunas. He's ready to take your calls at 724-843-1888 and 724-774-1888. Also, make sure you check us out on Beaver County Radio Facebook Live and Beaver County Radio YouTube. Today's show is sponsored by Easy Home Exteriors. They do roofing replacement, windows, doors, and entryways, as well as siding. Easy Home Exteriors is your one-stop shop for all of your exterior modeling needs. For a free estimate, call 412-678-7008. That's 412-678-7008. The music made it that whole time. I was trying to go slow there at the end to see if you're going to stop the music or if you're going to time it perfectly. You timed it perfect.
I was competing against you. I was making sure that it lasted as long as you were talking while you were trying to run it out.
All right, so let's talk about the Steelers. I mean, I can only talk about Paul Skeens so much, right? The man, the myth, the legend.
Yes.
And every time you say Paul Skeens, you know what I think the next word is going to come out of your mouth?
What's that?
Paul Skeens, and like there's an apostrophe S, and then I think you're going to say mustache.
Yeah, all right.
Paul Skeens' mustache does make about every couple every few weeks he makes a stop on your show. Ryan, why don't you tell everybody about your show and a little bit about Paul Skeens' mustache?
Yeah, Paul Skeens does stop by the show. We do have a show 5 days a week on YouTube. It's 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every day. And Paul Skeens' mustache does give us a call and give us an update on how things are going in the majors and how things are going with Paul and Livy and all these other things. So swing by, check us out. The website is www.the2dumbyinzers.com. Check it out.
It's a great show. It's a live YouTube show. So there's a board that you can interact on. So if you have questions or comments, they typically, it's very good that they interact with their audience. It's a really good show. And yeah, that Paul Skeens mustache, when he brings up his days at LSU,
yes,
it's some good. It's a
top
YouTube
bit. You're going to want to check this out. One thing I do want to say though, guys, if you did have the Paul Skeens mustache yesterday, you were able to go to Permane Brothers and get a free sandwich. So I don't know if people missed out on this, if people took advantage of this, but if you had the mustache yesterday, free sandwich.
Permane Brothers, you should advertise on here. I don't know what you're waiting for. Don't know what you're waiting for. All right, let's get into
They're waiting for Jules.
The Jules, yes. She's something else. All right, the Steelers. Who's going to play slot corner, Ryan?
Slot corner.
Who's this? Who is this? Joseph Scott? Who is that?
You know what? We're going to go into camp here in a couple weeks. What do we got? About 10 days, give or take. And they are going to have about 500 people on this field. It's so tough to tell. I mean, you know who your top guys are going to be. You know who's going to make this team. You know who the people that aren't going to make the team. But we're going to learn a lot about this team once camp does start because there are question marks. Of course, the big one is always the number 2 wide receiver. And then on the other side of the ball, the slot cornerback position. Do they bring back somebody that they know? Do they bring back a Patrick Peterson? A lot of questions are going to be answered here.
With the first 8 games, they do not have a slot corner.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That Beanie Bishop Jr., what's he all about?
Out of West Virginia, a lot of good talk about Beanie Bishop Jr.
Virginia?
Yes.
That's a heck of a school.
But you know what? When Cam Sutton does come back to the lineup halfway through, it's going to be when all the tough games start. We do have that extremely difficult second half of the season where we do play all 6 division games. We do play the Chiefs. We do play the Eagles. So I'm glad that Cam Sutton will be back for that. But we're going to learn a lot over the next month to answer some of these other questions.
I have a question, and I don't know. I saw it on the internet, and the internet never lies. They're talking about maybe trading Justin Fields to the Saints.
What was that? I didn't read the article.
It seemed like, a lot of speculation, but they were saying, maybe before the season or before the trade deadline or something, because I guess the South is so bad this year, the Saints might have a chance. And it's like, I don't know, does Justin Fields help you? And what could you get for him? Didn't we give up like a 19th round pick for him?
Maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they're keeping him around. I mean, there's a lot of question, obviously, going into the season. You do have this Justin Field. You do have this Russell Wilson. I mean, both guys were starters on their respective teams. How do you handle this? Maybe they are going to use him as leverage on something. I don't know. And like I said, I didn't look into that article. I'm not real sure the details on that.
What the positions I want to talk about, and this is what I want to see during the summer training camp. I want to see what they're going to do with the offensive line.
Yeah.
All these high draft picks moving up the pit, take Jones. We've got Fotano. We've got Smoking Jim Frazier. No, I mean Zach Frazier. And what's the right guard that we took in the 3rd round?
Yeah.
I can't think of his name. He's probably going to start next year, not this year. But is Dan Moore Jr. going to start week 1?
I think so. Whatever they decide to do, whatever alignment they decide to go with, I do think that he is involved.
How can you take a left tackle and a right tackle in the 1st round? You traded up for one of them.
Yeah.
Your 1st round picks. And some guy, he did get that bonus. Remember, he got that bonus for playing well? I swear his mom and dad and his cousins voted for this bonus. But Dan Moore Jr., I just don't understand. I don't get it. I think they're going to mess all that up. Are we going to get a wide receiver?
Well, you know what? The talk really started picking up here over the past couple of days. Again, they said Brandon Ayuk demands to be, removed from this 49ers team, whether it be by trade, whatever the case may be. He wants to go somewhere. He wants to make his money. I think that the Steelers are very much involved in this race. I think it's between the Steelers and about two other teams at the moment.
The Washington football team?
And I think New England was also mentioned as a team as well.
Do they even have a quarterback? Didn't they draft somebody?
They drafted Drake May.
Yeah. He's going to be terrible.
It's going to be interesting to see.
I honestly think of all the quarterbacks taken in this draft, they're all going to stink.
Very possibly. But, of course, as you asked what did you ask? What question did you just ask?
I don't know. It was probably something personal.
Oh, Brandon Ayuk. So Brandon Ayuk,
yes, wide receiver.
I think it's I think that it's a good chance that Brandon Ayuk comes here. Unfortunately, we have money tied up in two positions that I think that it really hurts us. I think Cam Hayward's big money and the money that he wants to get here over, with this new extension. I think this plays a big part, and also the big money that we just gave Alex Highsmith last year. He's good. He's not what we gave him good, but I think those two people tie up the money that we could very well be using to bring in a Brandon Ayuk.
I agree with you on one of those two decisions. Obviously, just Cam, you're old.
Yeah.
See you later.
I mean, and he's trying to get 3 years out of somebody. It better not be here.
Go get 3 years out of somebody.
Yeah.
Go somewhere and
the thing is, people love him. People are going to support him. People are going to say, keep Cam, pay Cam. And that's the thing, Brian. A lot of people they want these guys to get paid. They want to make sure they get their money. They're good football players. They're our heroes. But at the end of the day, it's a business, and that money has to come from somewhere. And if this guy isn't producing like he did in the early part of his career, now we're tied to him for 3 years. We're giving him crazy amounts of money when, again, we have other needs that we could certainly be using that money towards in this situation. A number 2 wide receiver, a slot corner. So those two positions, I think, holds up a lot of money.
Well, I mean, and here's the thing, too, is we're paying quarterbacks absolutely nothing right now.
You
right. Have to take advantage of the fact that the most expensive position, we're paying nothing. Thank you, Denver Broncos, for picking up $39 million that we would be paying. So we need to utilize that. And I know you're not a big Alex Highsmith fan, I guess, for the money that he makes.
Correct.
I'm predicting he's going to have over 15 sacks this year. He had 14.5 2 seasons ago. Got the big deal. And here was my problem with him, because I'm really big on Highsmith. I always talk him up, but last year he would just be like invisible for games at a time. And it was driving me crazy. I'm like, go out there and be a wrecking ball.
I mean, there's situations that should have him in a position to go out and be a wrecking ball. For one, we have a pretty good defense. There's a lot of schemes that you could use against one guy when other positions aren't as good. We got a pretty good defense from our linebacker core, which improves every year. You can see that. The DBs, you know what? The team is getting better. It's going to be. It's harder to double team a guy like Highsmith. He should be able to be more productive, and we should see that in his numbers. But we're just, from what I see, I don't think we're seeing it.
I don't know. I think you need 35 sacks out of Watt and Highsmith if you're paying them both that much money. Combined 35.
That's a lot. That's a lot of sacks. One guy gets 15, the other guy gets 20.
I'm saying 2 a game. They should each get a sack a game on average.
Yeah.
If you're going to rush the quarterback that often, like, you better get to him at least once a game, each of you.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you can't. I mean, I guess they pay the guys to stop you from doing that too. Well, we'll see. And I also think that we're going to lead maybe the NFL this year in sacks given up.
You think?
I think so. Dan the Man Neely, he's on there. He's like, Brian, you're going to be yelling at your TV for Wilson to throw the ball. Throw the ball.
That's something that, a concern that I did see. Him and Justin Fields were.
And we just have, although we have first round, second round talent.
Right.
They're young. They're going to make mistakes. I mean, it's going to take them a while to gel. It might take a half a season for them to gel too. So I think we're. I don't know. Everybody's very positive on the outlook, but I keep seeing a lot of glaring things that just bother me.
Do you know what keeps me from being positive about this offensive line? The progress that Broderick Jones was unable to make last year from the time he was drafted till the time when he was actually getting his playing time. That was kind of discouraging. I thought if you could kind of throw Broderick Jones in, he could be productive. He could be that guy. But you know what? It took so long. So you're right. These young guys, it's hard to tell with Zach Frazier and Fatanu. And you want them to be effective immediately. You want them to be able to jump right in. But the fact of the matter, they never played down in the NFL yet.
Some of the toughest people on the planet are wrestlers.
Okay.
And Zach Frazier wrestled heavyweight.
Yeah.
I think just his footwork and his, knowing where to put his arms. And if you're a wrestler, you know how to defend yourself and how to go on the offensive. And I think that just his wrestling background is really going to help him out at that center position.
I couldn't agree more. I think they're going to be okay. Just before I know you're going to start wrapping it up, what kind of grade do you think? What is your too early grade for the offensive line for the season? How do you think they're going to fare from an A to F scale like you do in school? What do you think this offensive line is going to be at the end of the year? I'm going to turn to you. I'm going to say, Bryan, what is one man's opinion on how this offensive line did? And you're going to say,
okay, if they stay healthy, the grade that I will give them by the end of the year, we're going to be playing the tough teams at the end of the year,
absolutely,
right?
yes. Real tough.
You never know, though, too, because last year we didn't even play any quarterbacks in our division.
You're right.
What did we play? Jackson one time and beat him, and then we played 5 backups.
Yeah.
And who the heck was the Browns quarterback when he destroyed us? It was somebody bad.
Yeah,
we
who
lost
was
them.
it?
I'm like, I don't even know who it was. And I think...
But, that was a weird game. They won that game on a last-minute field goal. It wasn't like the Browns killed us in that game, but I just wanted to make that.
But, I feel like they're only going to get a C. Because to me, it's like you start them all, you go through the growing pains the first few weeks of the season, and whatever happens is whatever happens, and then you're hoping by week 4 or 5 they start getting it together. But if you start plugging them in at week 8 and 9, now you're delaying their development.
Right. You know what? My way early pick, Bryan. My prediction is I think that they're going to get a B this year collectively as an offensive line. I'm going to say a B.
All right, I'm going with a C. All right, everybody, thanks for spending the last hour with us during Steelers season. This isn't written in stone yet, but we should be doing a 2-hour show, Ryan, during the Steelers season. So everybody look forward to that. Whenever the pen meets the paper, we will let you guys know. All right, everybody, thanks for listening. From Ryan and Bryan, you've been listening to 99.3 FM and 1230 AM. We'll see you back here in 167 hours.
You've been listening to One Man's Opinion on Sports with Bryan Pasquale on Beaver County Radio. Don't forget, you can watch the show on WBVP-WMBA Facebook page anytime. Tune in next Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. for One Man's Opinion on Sports with Bryan Pasquale on Beaver County Radio.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP.